Hello, everybody, and welcome to my first end of the year list. Well, sort of end of the year list. It's more of an best movies of 2017 part 1 list, in that I haven't seen everything that I wanted to see in 2017, and I do feel like it's going to take some time to see more of what I wanted to see in 2017. So, in that, I'm going to be giving you guys my recommendations, 15 titles right now, of what I did see in 2017, what I thought was the best, what stood out to me the most, and what I recommend you guys seeing. Now, I do have a couple things to go through real quick, and movies that I didn't see that won't be on this list are going to be The Disaster Artist, I, Tonya, Call Me By Your Name, Phantom Thread, Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, Good Time, Lady Bird, and Wind River. Among other things, there are so many more movies. This was a really good year for movies, in my opinion. Probably one of the best since 2014. And like I said, I'm sure some of those would make the list, but I just haven't had the chance to see them yet. But I will, and like I said, in about a year or so, you guys will see another list that's going to contain probably more than 15 titles. It's going to include the overall best of 2017. Also, some honorable mentions I have real quick for you guys are Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Really fun movie, just couldn't fit it on the list. Gerald's Game, great Stephen King adaptation. Another Stephen King adaptation, It. Megan Levy I thought was really good, just not as great as some of the other films on here. Get Out was really hard not to put on here. Thor Ragnarok was on the list for a very long time, but got cut out eventually. And Spider-Man Homecoming. Unfortunately, I really wanted that one on the list, but it just didn't make the cut after all. Maybe it will be on the overall. Depends on how many slots, my thoughts on it when I watch it again. And I also wanted to say, The Last Jedi is not going to be on this list. I did see it. I liked it overall, but I did think it was disappointing in a couple aspects, so I don't think it really made it onto this list and deserved to be on here. And I also want to talk about another film real quick that got really poor reviews. It wasn't good enough to be on the list, but I also just wanted to say that I enjoyed it, and that's Murder on the Orient Express. If you saw my review of that, you guys know I gave it an 8 out of 10, and maybe it didn't deserve that. Maybe it deserves more of like a 6. But still, if you don't take it completely seriously, it's got really good production design. I think I had a lot of fun with it. Like I said, I know it doesn't deserve to be on the list. I know it has a lot of flaws, but I did enjoy it, so I thought I'd just give it a quick shout out here. And anyway, guys, let's get right into the list. Some of you aren't going to agree with it. Some of you hopefully will agree with it. But, just say what you got to say in the comments. Let me know what you think I was stupid to put on here. Let me know what you think you weren't expecting to be on here. Let me know what you guys would have put on here. And anyway, with that being said, let's get into Best Movies of the Year 2017, Part 1-ish, and we're starting off with number 15. And that number 15 spot is It Comes at Night, starring Joel Edgerton. Guys, this horror movie was so effective. Not a lot of people saw it, but, I never saw any ads for this one before I went into the theater and saw it, and I was blown away by how tense this movie was. Joel Edgerton does a great job. All the performances are all around great. I really can't recommend this movie enough. Definitely, if you haven't seen it and you like horror movies, check it out. I was definitely chilled to the bone watching It Comes at Night. Continuing on to number 14. The number 14 spot I gave to probably my favorite animation of the year that I've seen so far. I haven't seen Coco, like I said. I heard that one was really great, and there are a couple other animations that I haven't seen. But as of right now, that is the Lego Batman movie. Guys, if you didn't see this, definitely check it out. It's really, it just about matches the Lego movie in just about almost every way. It's not as good as it, but it's definitely an essential Batman movie, in my opinion. It's a lot of fun to watch. The animation looks great. It's funny. I love that movie, and I've seen it so many times this year. My family loves it. It's just a fun movie, and I feel like families can get a lot out of it. And it's probably a good movie for kids to watch, especially with stuff like the Emoji Movie. So definitely, do you want your kids watching the Emoji Movie or the Lego Batman movie? I'd say give them Lego Batman. With that being said, we're on to number 13. Number 13 is a movie that I walked into going, is this overrated? Was this too overhyped for me? Am I not going to like this? And I walked out of it loving it, and that movie is Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot's performance was great. Patty Jenkins, I really like her as a director. Monster is a great movie, and she really outdoes herself in this. This is the best DCEU, whatever it is, movie ever, and one of the best superhero movies of the year. I love this movie. I've seen it about 2 or 3 times, and so many great scenes are in this movie. It's just a really powerful and timely superhero movie, and there's not a lot of other superhero movies out there like this, so I definitely recommend watching Wonder Woman. Coming in at number 12 is another horror-ish type movie, and that movie is Personal Shopper, starring Kristen Stewart and directed by Olivier Assayas. And this movie really got to me. Like, when I first watched it, I was like, it's okay, but then I was thinking about it all night into the next day, and then I rewatched it, and it made so much more sense. And guys, the ending to this one is incredible. I don't know how to describe it, but there's so much pure emotion in here, and Kristen Stewart surprisingly does a great job. I mean, she is a decent actress, I guess, but compare this to her performance in like Twilight and all that stuff. Personal Shopper, very effective, pretty chilling in parts actually, and especially with a great ending. Probably one of my favorites of the year. I definitely recommend checking out Personal Shopper. Like I said, 12th best movie of the year. Anyway, we're on to number 11. Well, guys, I loved this movie. But above both of these, I loved War for the Planet of the Apes. I unfortunately haven't bought it yet, but I just gotta say, maybe War for the Planet of the Apes wasn't the best title, but because there's not really much of a war in here, but overall, I gotta say, the emotional struggle going on here, and Andy Serkis's work definitely deserves some recognition. It's the best of the Planet of the Apes trilogy. I love it. I love everything about it, from the way it's directed, from the masterful cinematography, the masterful war scenes. One of the most captivating movies of the year was War for the Planet of the Apes. And moving right along to the next spot on the list. Looks like it's in the shape of a water bottle to me. But who really knows the shape of water? And you guys know, that's number 10 on my list. The Shape of Water. What a unique movie. Guillermo del Toro directed the heck out of this movie. And that guy, I forget his name. That makes me so mad. But the man, the amphibian man, he did such a great job with he's basically like Andy Serkis is to the CGI effects. This guy is to practical effects. He did such a good job. Sally Hawkins, one of the best performances of the year, being able to convey so much emotion just through her facial expressions, not being able to use words. This movie was very effective, very timely, and overall a really great experience to have, especially with the visuals. If you didn't get the chance to see this one in theaters, I would definitely recommend checking this out on a big, nice screen, because the visuals, perfect. Some of the best. Actually, not some of the best. The best of the year, in my opinion, what I've seen thus far. Definitely check out The Shape of Water. We're getting down to the films that really hit me hard this year, and coming in at number 9 is Dunkirk. One of the best war movies probably I've ever seen. The best war movie I've seen in theaters, and it just capitalized off of so much talent. Harry Styles' acting was great. Christopher Nolan, again, another director who really owned up to their potential this year, and I liked all 3 of the storylines that were presented. The visual effects were some of the best. I liked how minimal the script was. It really made for an emotional experience, really realistic, and it did lack some of the violence, but I thought that made it overall even more effective and emotional. You really get to know these characters, and you feel what they're going through. Really tense, really emotional. Can't recommend Dunkirk enough. Definitely check it out. And coming in at number 8, one of what I think is the best performances of the year from a male actor, and I'm talking about James McAvoy, and the movie I'm talking about is M. Night Shyamalan's Split. Guys, I've seen Split 3 times this year. One of M. Night Shyamalan's best movies. His return to form, if you ask me. I've always been a pretty big fan of his, except for The Happening and After Earth. Thought The Visit was but Split is amazing. Its connections to other films of his, James McAvoy's performance, like I said, Anya Taylor-Joy's performance, all so good. The storyline, captivating. I still get chills when I watch this movie, and I already know what's happening because I've seen it 3 times. If you didn't get a chance to see Split, oh my gosh, you need to see Split, especially if you like Shyamalan. Even if you don't like Shyamalan, this movie could change you. I watched it with a really good friend of mine who hated Shyamalan, couldn't figure out why I liked him so much, and walking out of this movie, he said, that was way better than I expected it to be, and he has since gotten into some of Shyamalan's stuff. Anyway, Split. I love Split. And we're moving right along to 7. And guys, from 7 up, these are just really, really some great movies in each of their respective genres. I would say that most of these are the best of their respective genres. But anyway, on number 7, guys. Number 7 is one of the most divisive movies of the year, and a polarizing film. But guys, you know what? I loved it. I can't say enough good things about it. And that movie is Jennifer Lawrence in Mother. Whew, Mother, what a just weird but awesome movie. Darren Aronofsky, one of my favorite directors, he does a really good job here. And I just love all the biblical references and stuff. And it's a film that I know it can spark a lot of controversy, and I may personally not agree with all of the religious aspects that's presenting, and you may not agree with it. But you know what? We're able to entertain thoughts in our heads without believing them, and it's one of the best made films of the year, whether or not you agree with it. Like I said, I may not agree with some of the stuff personally, but that doesn't stop me from loving and thinking it's a great film. And I do agree with a lot of what it has to say. I'm not going to get into my personal beliefs here, because that's just not my place right now. But I just wanted to say that in case you were, kind of, I don't know the word, but in case you were kind of like on the fence about seeing Mother or not. But definitely give it a shot. You may not like it. You don't have to like it. That's what's beautiful. But definitely, I recommend giving Mother a shot. And we're moving right along to number 6. What's number 6 going to be? What's number 6 going to be? And number 6 is probably, let me check, the best comedy of 2017, and that movie is The Big Sick. Kumail Nanjiani. Guys, I loved The Big Sick. I didn't even want to watch The Big Sick at first, actually, but I saw it on Amazon Prime, and I watched it, and I watched it again, and I laughed consistently both times. The funniest movie I saw all year. Ray Romano's performance is excellent. I hope he gets a nomination. Holly Hunter, great. The whole thing, great. I can't believe this actually happened. I mean, this movie explores everything. Religion, love, death, life, rejection, acceptance, probably even war. I don't even know. Guys, The Big Sick. It has something for everybody. Culture, check it out. I can't say enough good stuff about this movie. And we've gotten to the big ones. These are the ones that really hit me hard. And we're starting with one of the most emotional movies that I saw all year, and one of the most depressing movies of all time, in my opinion, and that movie is A Ghost Story, starring Casey Affleck. Man, this movie, it invades you. You think about it. I know people really don't like this movie, especially stuff like the pie eating scene, but in just some of the other long and drawn-out scenes, I've heard people call it pretentious, but I feel like Casey Affleck did such a good job conveying so much emotion, and he's under a sheet the whole time. And when I first saw the trailers for this, I thought, hey, that looks pretty interesting. But what I didn't know is that it is just so impactful and emotional. The ending scene is probably my favorite ending scene of any movie this year. The soundtrack also, really good. I forgot to mention before, but Guardians of the Galaxy 2 had one of the best soundtracks of the year, and so does A Ghost Story. It's right up there. The score is perfect. The music is amazing. If you didn't see A Ghost Story, which I know a lot of people haven't, I would definitely recommend checking it out. Last time I checked, I think it is on Amazon Prime. But I really loved. It's just so unique, and it's just such a different take on just grief and sadness, and really reviewing your life as a whole. And I felt different as a person after having watched this. This movie made me think deeper about a lot of things, and it just makes you think about what you'll see in your life when you're looking back on it. But I don't want to get too deep in here, but A Ghost Story is great, and we're on to my number 4 pick of the year, and it's a big one, and that movie is The Darkest Hour, starring Gary Oldman, about Winston Churchill. Guys, The Darkest Hour, I don't know why I love it so much. I've heard people say it's really heavy-handed and boring, but I don't know, it got into me. I was into it. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. It's one of those movies like Lincoln. I think I have Lincoln back here somewhere, but where you know what's going to happen, but you're still just so caught up in the story. The performances were all around great. I just loved The Darkest Hour. I liked it even better than Dunkirk, which I know a lot of people disagree with, but it really held just emotional, impactful weight for me, and I don't know why. Definitely check it out. I really did feel inspired by this movie, especially once you see all the opposition that Churchill was against. And I do highly recommend that anybody check this movie out. And guys, we're into the 3 best movies of the year. I shuffled these around, and they really all could be number 1 at any point in time. And I bet you're wondering if these are going to be on here, and of course they are. I think most people agree that these are some of the best movies of the year. And we're heading right to number 3. And number 3 is Blade Runner 2049. I'm a huge fan of the original Blade Runner, and I thought Blade Runner 2049 was even better than that. It's really a perfect film. It's flawless in my opinion. The performances, the visuals. Denis Villeneuve is probably one of my new favorite directors right now because this movie absolutely astounded and blew me away. I can't wait to watch it again. I got it the day it came out on DVD, and Ryan Gosling continues to climb the ladder. He's just so great. I love this movie. On any other day, on any other year, this would have been my favorite movie of the year, but there are 2 movies that, as of right now, I'm thinking are, I don't know, for me, a little, I don't even know. They basically tie for number 1. I can't even say if I like the other 2 better, because, in my opinion, these, starting here, Blade Runner 2049, and my next 2 movies, they're all 10 out of 10s, right now, of course. But, that being said, we're on to number 2, which is Logan. And Logan is the best superhero movie of the year. Logan is the best Marvel movie of all time. Logan is one of the best superhero movies of all time. It's definitely in the top, 3. It's just great. It's emotional, gritty, raw. It has everything in it. I think it's better than Deadpool, personally. A lot of people disagree with me, but it has, the dark, pervasive language in there, the gritty violence, the action, the just dark feeling, the grimy feeling that you get, the raw emotion. It's just such a raw and visceral movie. It gives you so much thought at the end of it. Surprisingly, from a superhero movie, you actually have a lot to think about. It's not just dumb explosions and, big Transformers sequences. It's not a Michael Bay movie. It's a James Mangold movie, and a really good one at that. And I would definitely highly recommend seeing Logan if you haven't. Man, what a movie. And we're here now. We're at my number 1 pick, and what's that going to be? What's my number 1 pick of the year going to be? I bet a lot of you are wondering why it hasn't been on this list, and if you are, I'll give you a second to guess. What's one movie that's been on every list that you've probably seen, but you haven't seen here? Because I can almost guarantee you that whatever you're thinking, that's probably number 1. So, take a deep breath, and a few seconds, we shall see. And guys, number 1 comes down to what I thought was the most fulfilling theater experience that I had all year, what I thought had some of the best editing, some of the best directing, and overall probably the best soundtrack. And that movie is Edgar Wright's Baby Driver. Now, I don't know what it is about this movie that's just so... It's an action movie, but this is how action movies really should be done. They should be... I don't know what it is about this movie. It's so fast-paced. It's thought-provoking. Every single one of these people on here does a great job acting. Edgar Wright, who I am a big fan of with the Cornetto trilogy and all that stuff, he really stylized this movie, but the style was not overbearing. It was it was kind of restraint style, but the music in and of itself seemed to be rising as a character. This was basically a musical, and after this, you just feel the rhythm and like life and everything. It just capitalizes off of some of those effects. And all you want to do is listen to the soundtrack after this. I remember after I saw this movie, I was walking around with my sunglasses on, my earbuds in, constantly blasting, the Harlem Shuffle or whatever kind of music is in here, Radar Love. It's all just so great. It is, in my opinion, like right now, like what I said, the best movie of 2017. I mean, Kevin Spacey did a great job, Ansel Elgort, Jamie Foxx, Lily James. I can't recommend it enough. If you haven't seen Baby Driver, what are you waiting for? Get out there, get it. It's out on DVD, it's out on Blu-ray. Check it out. And guys, thank you for sticking around here. Like I said, stay tuned because eventually I am going to, in about a year or so, give you the best of 2017. And that's going to be probably way more than this. If I love these movies so much, I would really like the honorable mentions because I'm thinking I may incorporate some of those into the actual list upon revisiting them and rewatching them, letting them sit in my mind a while. Because guys, I really like this year in movies, and I'm glad I got to do this. But anyway, thank you for sticking around. Let me know what you think down there. If you hate my list, if you like my list, if you agree with it. Let me know what some of your favorite movies of the year are. Let me know some recommendations that you have for me to check out that you would like to see reviewed or possibly on a list or me to consider for a list. But that's all I got for you for right now. Like I said, I think this is my third time saying it in here. Thank you for sticking around, and hope to see you next time. See you soon.